I realized yesterday that I don't have any favorite stories to tell. I am 91 years old. I have lived through wars, through technological revolutions, through the rise and fall of nations. I have been married. I have raised children. I have retired. I have grown old. And yet, when I sit here in this chair, looking at the dust motes floating in the sunlight, I cannot find a single story that makes my heart race. I cannot find a moment where I truly risked something. That is a terrible thing to admit. It feels like a betrayal of the life I was given. Most people fear dying. I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid that I never actually lived. I am afraid that I treated my life like a rehearsal. I treated my life like a waiting room. I was always a sensible boy. That is what my mother called me. Sensible. I didn't climb the trees that were too high. I didn't run on the wet pavement. I kept my clothes clean. I liked being sensible. It felt like control. It felt like I was smarter than the other boys who came home with scraped knees and bruised elbows. I thought they were foolish. I thought they were messy. I didn't understand that the scrapes and the bruises were the receipts of experience. I carried that sensibility into my 20s. I met a woman. She was wilder than I was. She had a laugh that made people turn around in restaurants. She wanted to go to Europe. She wanted to paint. I loved her, but I didn't marry her. I married the girl who was sensible, the girl who wanted a house in the suburbs and a steady dual income. I told myself I was making the mature choice. I told myself that passion burns out, but security lasts. I was so proud of my logic. I was so proud of my 5-year plan. I got the job at the firm. It wasn't the work I wanted to do. I wanted to build furniture. I liked the smell of sawdust. I liked the idea of making something that existed in the real world. But the firm offered a pension. It offered dental insurance. It offered a clear path to promotion. So I put the tools away. I told myself I would do woodworking when I retired. I told myself that I would have a workshop in the garage one day, when the house was paid off, when the kids were grown, when there was time. That is the lie I told myself for 40 years. When there is time. I lived entirely in the future. I didn't enjoy the Tuesdays. I just got through them to get to the weekend. I didn't enjoy the weekends. I spent them fixing the house and running errands to prepare for the week ahead. I didn't enjoy the years. I spent them saving for retirement. I was always preparing. I was preparing for a life that I expected to start someday. I thought life was a destination. I thought that if I just worked hard enough and saved enough and made enough right decisions, I would arrive at a place called the good life. And once I arrived there, then I could relax. Then I could be happy. Then I could be me. I remember my son asking me to play catch. He was 7. It was a Tuesday evening. I had brought work home. I was tired. I was worried about a meeting the next morning. I told him, not now, on Saturday. But on Saturday, it rained. And the next Saturday, we had to go to my in-laws. And the Saturday after that, I was tired again. I don't remember when he stopped asking, but he did stop. It happened quietly. It wasn't a scene from a movie. There was no slamming of doors. He just stopped walking into the room with his glove. He learned that I was busy. He learned that I was preparing for something more important than him. We have a polite relationship now. He calls me on Sundays. We talk about the weather. We talk about sports. He doesn't tell me about his pain. He doesn't tell me about his dreams. Why would he? I was never there for the small moments, so I didn't earn the right to be there for the big ones. My wife and I, we saved. We were frugal. We didn't take the big trips. We said we would go to Italy for our 50th anniversary. That was the plan, the grand tour. We bought a nice set of luggage. We kept it in the attic, wrapped in plastic. We had nice china too, wedding gifts. We kept them in the cabinet. We only used them for Christmas. We were saving them. We didn't want to break them. We lived on the everyday plates. We lived in the everyday clothes. She got sick 3 years before our 50th anniversary. It was quick. Pancreatic cancer. I remember sitting in the hospital room. I was holding her hand. It felt so small. She looked at me and she said, "We didn't go." She wasn't talking about the hospital. She was talking about Italy. She was talking about the life we had promised ourselves. I tried to tell her it was okay. I tried to comfort her, but she just closed her eyes. After the funeral, I went up to the attic. I saw the luggage, still wrapped in plastic. I took a knife and I cut the plastic open. I opened the suitcases. They smelled like a factory. They smelled like newness. They smelled like nothing. They had never held a shirt. They had never been on a train. They had never been dragged across a cobblestone street. They were perfect, and they were useless. I smashed the china too. I went into the dining room and I took the plates out one by one, and I threw them against the wall. It didn't make me feel better. It just made a mess. A mess I had to clean up. Because I am a sensible man. That was the moment the realization truly hit me. I had spent my entire life protecting myself from breakage. I protected my heart from rejection, so I didn't marry the woman I loved. I protected my career from risk, so I didn't pursue my passion. I protected my time, so I didn't play with my son. I protected my future, so I didn't live in my present. And I succeeded. I made it. I am here. I am 91. I have money in the bank. The house is paid for. I am safe, and I am completely alone. The silence in this house is deafening. It is the sound of unlived days. I look at the calendar and I see the empty squares. I used to love empty squares. I used to see them as order. Now I see them as voids. I wake up in the morning and I make coffee. I drink it from a chipped mug. I don't care anymore. I sit on the porch and I watch the neighbors. There is a young couple next door. They fight sometimes, loudly. I can hear them shouting about money, about dishes, about nothing. And then, an hour later, I see them on their front step, kissing. They look tired. They look messy. Their car has a dent in the bumper. The grass is too long, and I envy them so much it makes my chest ache. They are in it. They are in the mess. They are feeling things. They are hurting and loving and living. They are not waiting. I look at my hands. They are spotted now. The skin is thin like paper. These hands haven't built anything. They haven't held enough. They have just kept things tidy. I thought that by being careful I was avoiding pain. I thought I was avoiding regret, but regret is patient. Regret doesn't shout at you when you are young. It waits. It waits until the time has run out. It waits until you can no longer correct the course. Then it comes and sits beside you. It holds your hand. It tells you that you were safe. You were very, very safe. And that is the tragedy. I see you. I don't know who you are, but I know you are listening. I know you have a shirt you are saving for a special occasion. I know you have a dream you are putting off until the timing is right. I know you have words you are swallowing because you don't want to cause a scene. I know you are checking your bank account and telling yourself, just a few more years. You think you are being smart. You think you are purchasing freedom. You think you are banking time. I am here to tell you that time is not a currency you can save. It is a fire. It burns whether you use it to warm yourself or whether you let it burn the house down. You cannot hoard it in a vault. It is gone as soon as it arrives. Every time you say later, you are making a bet you might lose. I won the bet. I lived to be old. I got the later. And I am telling you, it is not worth what you are paying for it. The later is just a Tuesday. It is just a quiet afternoon. It is just you in a chair with a paid-off mortgage and a memory full of blank pages. I would trade this safety for a single day of uncertainty when I was 30. I would trade this silence for a mistake. I would trade this clean house for a mess that I made because I was too busy living to clean it up. Don't let the china sit in the cabinet. Break it. Don't let the shirt rot in the closet. Wear it to the grocery store. Don't let the love stay in your mouth. Speak it, even if your voice shakes, especially if your voice shakes. I am tired now. The sun is going down. I will eat my dinner alone. I will wash the single plate. I will go to bed. I will be safe. I will be sensible. And tomorrow I will wake up and do it again. Until I don't.